Okay, hey there, gang. Sorry for that delay there. There was a bit of a glitch with, I'm not sure if it was the phone, the internet connection, but thank you for being so patient and waiting for me here. I'm so sorry that there was a bit of a delay. I was here right at 9, but something was wrong with the tech, but I think we got the tech issue figured out. Hi, I'm Todd Nauck. Hello, welcome to my art live stream. So glad you're here. So glad we can hang out. And sorry, putting my iPad away because I was thinking, what's going on? What's wrong with my phone? So glad you're here. Thank you for being so patient. So we're going to draw Carnage on this red Post-it note. So so glad you're here, everyone. Feel free to draw along with me. You don't have to draw on a Post-it note. If you want to draw on a Post-it note, awesome. Welcome to the club. If you have a sketchbook or a pad of paper, notebook paper, whatever you have, draw on that. Whatever tools you have, draw with those. This is more about just having fun, and maybe you'll pick up a tip, a trick or two on how to draw just about anything. You know, mostly we're doing superhero and supervillain characters. So we're drawing a supervillain Carnage, Spider-Man villain Carnage. I get a lot of requests for Carnage, so I figured let's give Carnage a whirl on a red Post-it. This could be an interesting effect. So enough talking. Let's flip the camera around and let's start drawing. Let me readjust the rig. Clamp back in. And readjust the lighting. How am I doing today? I'm doing well. How are y'all doing today? I'm going to start with the trusty rusty Unikuratoga 0.3 HB lead mechanical pencil. I'm going to start to draw Carnage here. Start with that skull shape. Going to leave a little extra room at the top of the Post-it here because I want room for those symbiote tendrils that kind of squiggle and snake off the top of his head. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit so I have a little room at the top to play. Now Carnage has a bit of a longer face and more, he's a bit more slender than like Venom. Venom is like a big, he's just like a big tank. But Carnage is far more slender and sneaky, snaky, squirrely, sly sort of guy. Got my eye line there. Because even though he doesn't really have eyeballs in his Carnage form, we do want to know where the eyes would go. Thanks to everyone who joined me on the Marvel social media yesterday for my Wolverine live stream. We had a lot of fun. Maybe Marvel will invite me back for a future art live stream. But until then, we're going to just keep rocking it here on a fairly regular basis. Really appreciate everyone coming over here. And if you discovered me on that Marvel live stream and came over here to join me on my channel, first of all, welcome. Welcome to the club. And longtime viewers, always so happy to have you here every time. So I got his neck here, and we're kind of hunching him down a little bit because he's a sneaky snake. So we got the shoulder muscles. We got that collarbone, that shoulder bone that runs just above our chest. And then down to his shoulders there. And then we have his eyes. He's got the big, the big white eyes. So from the center, we're just going to get the basic shape going. Then it kind of cuts back up and back down. And I'll adjust these as we go. So it's kind of like a very exaggerated Spider-Man lens. You know how Spider-Man has his white lenses? It's kind of like that, but even more exaggerated. Then we have some black spots on the side. There'll be a lot of black, red, and white in this illustration here. And then he's got a toothy grin like Venom. So I'm just going to kind of start a guideline for the grin. keeping in mind we're going to have a lot of fangs in here. Now with a Venom, a symbiote character like Venom or Carnage, you know, they get kind of monstrous, so the jaw can really kind of, you know, the facial features can really morph and distort into a monstrous sort of way. And so we're going to start to put some of these zigzag lines for his fangs. Just like that. That's the top row of symbiote teeth. Then we're going to do a row for the bottom. So my little guideline there kind of helps me keep my teeth in a nice sort of row there. You can add more teeth if you want. You can really give them, you know, lots more. If you want, it all just depends on how creative you want to be. You know, you can feel free to take the liberties. So I know where the top of his forehead is here. So that's like his forehead, and then that's the top of his head here. So just putting in these shapes kind of helps me figure out the shading. So we're gonna have a lot of dark, like through his, sometimes his teeth are white. Most of the time his teeth are black. I kind of like the black tooth Carnage because it looks more menacing for my tastes. Not opposed to the white teeth, I just think that the black teeth kind of sets them apart from Venom. And then we have these squiggles. Like the symbiote is just kind of squiggling all around his face and body. And then even off. So you have these tendrils. And maybe there's a tendril coming off of the tendril. And of course it's coming off of his shoulders. And a lot of this is going to come with the ink stage. I'm going to be utilizing some brush pen here. Maybe one off his jaw. Maybe two tendrils merging into one. You can put as many or as few squiggles coming off of Carnage as you would like. So I got the basic structure there figured out. So now it's time to come in with my inking tools. So I'm going to use my Pigma Micron pens, mostly the 08, maybe a little 01 if necessary. And I'm also going to use my Zebra brush pens. I'm going to use the fine point or I guess that's more of a medium point, and the fine point here, or fine, ultra fine, medium fine. I can't remember what those are, but that's the middle range, and that's the finest of the points. And then there's one in a black barrel, which is more broad, but I don't really have any of those at the moment. So I'm going to start with his head here. Just going to start putting in the main contour lines, kind of coming down his cheek, the side of his head to his cheek, then down to the jaw. Down to his chin. Keeping in mind, some of these tendrils are going to overlap his head with red and black, so I want to leave room for that. So I want to have an option of a red squiggle coming off of his head. Several red squiggles. It's not just coming off just the outside of his head, but it's like from the forehead, the inside of the image. So I want to keep in mind spacing to allow for that wherever possible. Okay, let's get the top of the head here. Just kind of let the pen kind of dance across the page. As you just make the squiggles, you vary the thick and the thin of the lines to give it a real organic sort of texture. Makes it look more slippery, slimy, snake-like. Maybe one coming off from the back of his head. All right, now we're gonna pull down the neck muscles here. So just getting some of the initial big squiggles going. And when I come in with the zebra brush pen, I'll be putting in a lot of dark squiggles. Here we're having a squiggle from the front merging with a squiggle from the back. His collarbone there. Shoulder muscle, collarbone, like that. Some of the neck and shoulder there. There's going to be a lot of black squiggles cutting through here, so not get too detailed. I'm not getting too detailed with the muscles there. Just some indications. And let's see, have one coming way off at the back over there. Okay. Now we're going to put in the eyes. I'm going to start with that center spiky shape. Then it kind of breaks up on the outside here. And then do the mirror image for this eye. And then the mouth. And I'm doing the black teeth version, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill in all these smaller points. Because the brush pen will not fit inside those smaller points so well. So I want to make sure I maintain the nice sharp point to his teeth. Going to kind of rough in the dark shape that runs down the center of his face. And I'm choosing to leave this spot of his chin red so I can put a nice black shadow underneath his chin, so it separates his chin from his neck. If I went all black, it might give kind of the effect that his face goes all the way down to his collarbone there, which is not what I want. So I'm creating a bit of a halo for his face. So we have the cheekbones there. So we have his jaws open here, so I can put another little black shadow right there. So we kind of get a sense of his jaw muscles kind of pulling his face into this creepy smile. So all of this will be filled in black. That will be filled in black. These little X's are what we do in comics to indicate to ourselves or to our inker, fill this part in black. Or the inker will do that when they're working on the inks. They'll do all the line work and then come back and fill in all the black last. And we'll have black up to there and they'll fade into the squiggles. And we're going to have a lot of squiggles here through his body. So before we get to the black squiggles, I'm going to go ahead and erase all these pencil lines. I'm using a Staedtler Mars plastic eraser, but just about any old eraser should do. Okay, so now I can come in with my zebra brush pen. Oops, I see a little more graphite up there I don't want. Just gently take that out. Now I can start my black squiggles. And with the brush pen, the more pressure I put down, the thicker the line, the less pressure, the thinner the line. So now I can just kind of let these squiggles just kind of merge and snake around his head as I want. Some kind of just stop. Some go all the way to the top of his head. Maybe some little spots of symbiote. So I got some full lines and some half lines. Some short lines, long ones and short ones. Can start to fill in some of this black area here. Put some darker shadow in some of these tendrils. And then just kind of keep this going down around his body, keeping in mind the different aspects, the neck, the shoulder, things like that. I can concentrate some of the black in some areas. I can have some more open spots because we want to make sure we can see the red of his body. I was going to say the suit, but I guess it's kind of a suit. It's a living suit, which I think is one of the aspects I think that grossed Peter Parker out and made him get rid of the symbiote. That and it was trying to bond with him forever and turn him crazy. So these symbiotes are not good for your body or your mental state of mind. Or just run along this tendril here to give it a little thickness, a little depth. Get that some of that black in there. Same for this one, just kind of thickens it up. Now with a character like Carnage, a red character on a red post-it like this, red and black, you could almost be done. But I am going to come in here and we're going to flesh them out with some color markers as well. And of course we have to make sure those eyes are nice and white so that his eyes really pop off of this this red post-it note color. Just put some little dots in here. Some little drops of symbiote. Can also broaden up some of my contours here. Of course, we still have to fill in the face. Did I know where I wanted to put the black, or am I just kind of, I think you asked if I was just kind of doing it on the fly or winging it. Couldn't quite catch the end, but I think I got the sense of what you're asking. A little bit of both ways, a little bit of both ways. I kind of roughed in some of these main squiggles, especially the ones coming off of his body, but a lot of the ones through here and through his forehead, I just kind of made it up as I went along. I just started with one squiggle and then added another one, you know, where I wanted or where I thought would look good. So I'm trying to vary the spacing in between so that it doesn't look too uniform. And I'm also trying to consider the shape of the muscles that they're squiggling around so we don't lose some of the shape of his head or his body or his musculature. All right, that'll work, I think. Now we're going to start adding some color on this. So even though he is red, I'm still going to color in some more red, just so I can really kind of shape him out here. So I'm going to come in with some R27. So we're putting red marker on red paper. And we're going to create some textures. So I'm going to utilize the red of the paper for Carnage, but then I'm also going to kind of sculpt him out, give him a little more 3D effect, a little more vibrancy by coming in with some more red, a darker red. Well, the red is darker compared to the paper that it's on, I should say. The R27, let's come in with a little R24. It's a little bit of a lighter shade of red, but still darker than the paper. I'm going to try a really vibrant pink here, an RV13 for the inside of his mouth. So it's almost imperceptible, but it gives a subtle variation to the inside of his mouth to the paper there. It might translate better when I post a photo of this on my social media a little later on, after this live stream is done. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to come in with some grays to give him some realistic shadow. So like along the sides of the head, right here at the forehead, kind of moving up towards the tendrils. Some cool gray 4, definitely here under the chin. On these shoulder muscles here, on the neck muscles, across the clavicle and on the shoulders there. We have so much black on here, we don't really need a lot of this, but just a little bit in some of these big open areas to kind of convey, maybe along the jawline here a little bit, to convey a little more form. Now I'm going to come in, so we're going to do the white pencil trick for his eyes here. So I'm going to come in with some gray, because I want to kind of give his eyes a reflective look, so I'm coming with dark gray. I'm only using dark gray because I'm on red paper. If I were on white paper, I would use a much lighter gray. So I want to kind of give him a bit of a reflected look. I even put some squiggles here because the lenses are technically made of the symbiote, so they would be squiggly too, or potentially could be. That's the way I'm imagining it. Some cool gray 5. I'm even going to come in with some cool gray 7. Now, this is a trick I'm only doing because of the red paper, and I want to convey white on here. And this is my trick to do that. So and since I wanted to have the white to have some texture, some form and shape, I start with some gray, and now I can color over all of this. That is to be the white of his eye. And because I use the dark gray, it will lighten up to the light shade of gray that I would want if I was coloring on white paper. I can give as much white pencil as I want. The more I bear down, the brighter the white can be. If I just want a little bit of white, I can color softly, just put down a small patch of white, or I can really bear down and really layer in that white pencil, depending on how vibrant I want. Like I said, I want my white to be, and especially here in the top part, above the gray, maybe a bit more vibrant than the bottom part. So let's go ahead and do a background fade, and we'll use some neutral grays, and we're going to go from dark down to light. Let's start with a neutral gray 6. I'd be very careful because we got a lot of tendrils here. I don't want to color these over with gray. So I have to be very cautious. It's going to take a little more attention and a finer touch. Now I'm going to go from that neutral 6 to a neutral 4. Just like that. Then we're going to go from that neutral 4 to a neutral gray 2. So just stepping down lighter every other number. Okay, that'll work. We'll have just a real kind of chunky fade there. I think that translates fine for a character like Carnage. Now it's time for the finishing move. Longtime viewers, you know my finishing move, the Uniball Sigma white gel pen. And we're going to put the white outline around Carnage here. And because of all these tendrils, it's going to take a bit more a bit more attention. because we have a lot of perimeter to go around because of these tendrils. And I want to be careful not to cover up the line weight. So I have to bring that line right up to the white line right up to the black line, and not over the black line if I can avoid it. And this white line I like how it gives the pop, gives Carnage the pop off the page. I almost called him Venom. Carnage. Carnage is not Venom. Just a little bit more here. And there we go. The white line actually makes them look a little even more creepy, I think. I'm going to use some of this here, this white gel pen. I'm going to put some little reflections there in his eye. Just to make him look a little more alien, kind of gives it some more texture. And I don't know, I think it looks gives it kind of a little more for the eye to play with. Not to say that there's any lack of stuff for the eye to play with. Is this a cardboard canvas? No, this is a Post-it note on a pack of Post-it notes. Post-it note paper. So I'm going to drop my name in here. I'll just run it right along the side. And the date, today is, let me double check the date, I always forget, 08, the 8th of April. '20. And there we go. Venom. Not Venom. I did it again. Still early in the morning here in California. Carnage. Carnage. Red Carnage on a red Post-it note. So much red. All right, let's flip the camera around and we can close out this live stream. Okay, hey gang. Awesome. So thanks for joining me here for today's art live stream. Hopefully you got a chance to draw along. If not, just you can do a rewatch, pause as you go, and work on your sketch, and then hit play and continue forward if there are any tips or tricks you need to get a little extra info on. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're staying safe and well, and I hope you'll join me tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern Time, for another Post-it pop art illustration. It'll be fun to hang out with you then. I really appreciate all your support. If you just discovered my channel, please feel free to subscribe, and you can set your notifications to alert you when I schedule my live streams or upload new art videos. And if you like what you saw, please leave me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Gang, I really appreciate it. Oh, and if you know of any Carnage fans, feel free to share my video with them. Maybe they'd like to see this. And yeah, till next time, I'm Todd Nauck. You keep on drawing, keep having fun. Take care, everybody.